Contestant number 9. Frank Mears, Just Shake It Off. Just Shake It Off, Frank Mears.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and friends, as you can clearly see, I'm handicapped. What you can't see is the worry, anxiety, and the frustration that I've dealt with over the years in dealing with my handicap. Those challenges come to all of us. And as we face additional challenges as we get older, my worry and yours may increase as well. Now, it's important on how we deal with our challenges, but what I found is just as important. It's how we deal with the worries, anxieties, and frustrations that come with those challenges. Recently, I developed a blister on the back of my right heel about the size of a dime. Now, the blister was painful enough, but when it broke open, it was really painful. And even with a bandage on that blister, I had a heck of a time putting a shoe on. And if I could get the shoe on, it was too painful to walk. So if I couldn't put my shoe on and I couldn't walk, I couldn't leave the house. If I couldn't leave the house, I couldn't do many of the things that I enjoy doing in life, like going to the theater or going to my Toastmasters meeting. I was especially worried that my Toastmasters Club would succeed without me. I was also anxious that my Toastmasters Club would want to replace me as the VP of Education because I couldn't attend the meetings. So as I was confined to my home, I did a lot of reading. And I read a few Aesop's fables. But I couldn't find one that fit my situation. So I, as a good Toastmaster, decided to write my own. So my fable involves 2 mules. One is the grandfather of the other. And the 2 mules are talking to each other. And the grandson is telling his grandfather how he's worried, anxious, and frustrated because he's having trouble doing the assignments that his owner wants him to do. And he's worried that if he doesn't accomplish his assignments, his owner might sell him. And if his owner sells him, then he won't be able to see his grandfather anymore. And with each worry, anxiety, and frustration that the grandson talks about, his grandfather, all he says is, shake it off and keep on trucking. Shake it off and keep on trucking. So finally the grandson says to his grandfather, Grandfather, what do you mean, shake it off and keep on trucking? And that's when his grandfather tells him the following story. He said, my grandson, when I was about your age, I developed a stubborn streak. And I wouldn't do any of this projects and work that my master wanted me to do. And my master got angrier and angrier. And one day, he actually hit me with a stick. And now, I got more worried. I got worried that he was going to sell me to the butcher down the street. And so I decided to run away. One night, when my master forgot to lock the barn door, I decided to take the trail over the mountain and hide out in the woods on the other side. But it was a dark, dark night, and on my travel over the trail on the mountain, I slid off the mountain and down into a deep ravine. Now, I wasn't hurt much, but try as I might, I couldn't get out of the ravine. So I started to bray for help, and then I heard the wolves howling in the distance, and I became afraid that they would come look for me and eat me. So I stopped. In the morning, my master did come look for me, and he found me down in the ravine. And he hollered and he swore at me, and then he left. And I thought, for sure, he's left me to die. But in a while, he came back, and he brought with him some of the townsmen. And they brought with them ropes and picks and shovels. And first they tried to get a rope around me to pull me out of the ravine, but the ropes weren't long enough. So there was a brief discussion, and then they started to roll stones and throw dirt down into the ravine. And when a shovelful of dirt fell upon my back, I became angry. And I jumped and I kicked and I bounded around. And when I stopped jumping and kicking, they rolled more stones and threw more dirt down into the ravine. Now, how long this went on, I do not know. But I finally found myself standing on top of a large pile of rocks and dirt. And if I reached up with my front feet, I could reach the edge of the trail of which I had fallen. So my master threw a rope around my neck and one around my behind, and they pulled me out of the ravine. Phew. I was glad to be out of the ravine. But now I was worried again. My master would surely take me to the town butcher. But he didn't. He took me back to the barn. He fed me with hay and oats. He gave me water to drink. And I was so glad to be back at home that I now did my chores with joy. And my master became happy with me. The moral of the story, my grandson, is this: don't let your worries, anxieties, and frustrations get the better of you. They only make the problems worse and resolve nothing. End of story. I'll be honest with all of you. When I started working on this speech, I didn't see how I had a chance. Because I don't sing, I don't dance, and I don't play a musical instrument. What's my chance of ever winning a speech contest? So my advice to you is, when you face a challenge, don't let your worries, anxieties, and frustrations get the better of you. But keep on trucking. Keep on trucking and keep on trying. Shake it off. Mr. Toastman.